The media double standards, though, they really get me, Sussan. I mean, many journalists are running the Labor lie that Peter Dutton is copying Donald Trump. And I ask you, could you imagine if Peter Dutton last night had said what Albanese did about trusting Trump? Listen to this.
Do you trust Donald Trump?
Yeah, I have no reason not to.
What if Peter Dutton had gone first and said, I trust Donald Trump and I have no reason not to? He would have been laughed out of town, wouldn't he?
Well, Labor is shamelessly politicising the issue of Australia's relationship with Donald Trump, with the US. We have worked productively with every US administration, Biden, Obama, the first Trump administration. We had strong personal relationships that delivered the right outcome on steel and aluminium tariffs in 2018, and we are well placed to have the same positive relationships. But you're quite right, Andrew, this shameless politicising of that relationship is done in the way that this Prime Minister is doing everything in this campaign. He's telling lies, he's being petty. At no point is he demonstrating his genuine care for the Australian people. And at no point is he fessing up to all of the promises that he has broken. And you saw that in the debate last night, when he was put on the sticky paper and asked, when will prices come down, power prices come down? And he simply could not answer, because there is no plan for power prices to come down. And that means manufacturing in this country continues to be under threat with a Labor government.
And yet, Sussan, I've got to say, the shameless lying is working. I mean, they're making it work, and that's a real issue for you guys, how you counter that. But look, to the policy you've just announced and you came on to discuss, you're going to create 12 Australian technical colleges. Now, these are specialist schools for years 10 to 12, at the end of high school, or 11 to 12 for kids that don't want the usual academic education. It's a throwback to the past. In fact, the Howard government actually set up technical colleges, 24 of them at some stage, for kids that wanted to not such an academic high school, but more trades orientated. But then Labor scrapped them. Was that because they'd actually been tried and failed?
They did, and I assume the education unions had a lot to do with that. But I was at one with Peter today that actually survived those scrapping of the technical colleges in 2008, and that's the Hunter Trade College. And you're right, Andrew, this is a generational investment into skills and training in our schools, because we in the Coalition will always resist the view that if you haven't made it to university, you haven't made it in life. And to walk around the facilities today to see the training in automotive, in carpentry, in all of the trades that build a house, which we so critically need today, and see how these young men and women are finding their way into employment pathways, into the workforce, and through what can be challenging years in secondary education if you don't fit the ATAR model. And I'm delighted that this $260 million investment in 12 Australian technical colleges has been announced, and what it will deliver for parents, for the school community, but most importantly for the skills pipeline. Because the Prime Minister talks a big game when it comes to skills and training, but we've seen 90,000 fewer apprentices and trainees since he came to government. And we just haven't seen a focus on building that pipeline and building that workforce for the future.
Look, I think there are a lot of kids sitting at the high schools that want to work with their hands, and I think it's right to stream them earlier if that's what they want. I think it's wrong to make sort of one size fits all. Sussan Ley, thank you so much indeed for your time.